And if any of you don't know who they are, you haven't been watching Lou Dobbs, and you should start. I have also pardoned Leonard Peltier and Mumia Abu-Jamal. And I've given a blanket pardon to all those convicted of the possession or use of small amounts of marijuana. I must admit to you, however, I have not pardoned Scooter Libby. He's going to have to at least pay his fine. Our values and goodness are not reflected by a government which promotes a globalization which depresses living standards at home and allows corporations to destroy the quality of life in banana republics and client states around the world. The WTO, the IMF, and the World Bank have caused untold suffering. If we can't reform them, we will abolish them.
Eliminate.
With respect to our government, our relationship with the government of Mexico, I have ordered the cancellation of the Security and Prosperity Partnership, or North American Union.
Yes.
Abandonment of plans for a NAFTA superhighway, which would have put nearly all American longshoremen and truckers out of work.
Yes.
And suspension of NAFTA completely until Mexico gives its workers union rights, protections for safety, health, and the environment, and wages at least matching the U.S. federal minimum wage. From now on, globalization will mean raising living standards in developing nations to match ours, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Now, by living standards, I don't mean copying our way of life. We have to adopt ways of life that respect the global environment and spread those around the world. We should be the example in protecting this balance. Our values and goodness are not reflected by a system in which all our personal income taxes go to pay interest on a staggering national debt created out of thin air. The Constitution gives Congress the authority to print our money, not a private cartel mostly owned by the Federal Reserve. Get out of here! I asked Congress to pass legislation eliminating the Federal Reserve. Our values and goodness are not reflected by a government which uses our money to train death squads in the techniques of torture, intimidation, and assassination.
Get rid of
The School of the Americas, by whatever name they choose to call it, will be closed. By the way, as Commander-in-Chief, I have ordered that the students presently attending the school be shown the movies Romero and Panama Deception and then sent home.
Thank you.
Our values and goodness are not reflected by a government which gives most favored nation status to the butchers of Tiananmen Square and places an illegal secondary embargo on the impoverished people of Cuba. The embargo of Cuba must end with justice. I recognize that we need advanced information on the activities of Al-Qaeda and those who wish to do us harm. But our values and goodness are not reflected by, and our security is not enhanced by, an organization which promotes instability, insurrection, tyranny, torture, terrorism, murder, and war around the world in our name and with our money. If the CIA doesn't stick to gathering intelligence, I will abolish it. Our values and goodness are not reflected by a government which sends its working class people around the world to kill the sons and daughters of working people in other countries. Our values and goodness are not reflected by sending our children to the Middle East to kill Arabs so the oil companies can profit from selling the oil under other people's sand, making us the target of terrorists. No more Iraqs, no more Kosovos, no more El Salvadors. You know, these are not isolated incidents of stupidity. They're part of a long, bloody history of foreign policy conducted for the financial interests of the wealthy few. It is a new form of colonialism. It violates our Constitution. It endangers our national security. It mortgages our future. It sacrifices our children. And it must stop. And it just did. As president, I will use the men and women in our armed forces to protect our borders and our people, not the financial interests of Folgers, Chiquita Banana, Exxon, and Halliburton. Now, needless to say, there will be no nuclear attack on Iran. Jimmy Carter, my special envoy to the Middle East, will be meeting with them to solve our differences. And once he is finished there, he will straighten out the Israelis and the Palestinians. You know, with over 60 years having passed since the end of World War II, and with the Cold War long since over, I see no reason why we should still be occupying Germany and Japan. Our global military presence will end within 2 years. This is not isolationism, it is common sense. It is in the security interest of our people, and it is obeying our Constitution.
Thank you.
Instead of a worldwide military presence, we will have a humanitarian presence.